I've had a few strange experiences in my life, but here's one of the creepier ones I've personally had. My parents live in a house built in the 1760s on the coast of southern Maine. It's a center chimney cape with a long L off the back. When they first purchased the house, I did some research on the property and the owners through the years. The house was built by the Eaton family and was handed down through the family from generation to generation until about 1860 when it was sold. Between 1820 and 1830, the Eaton family lost both parents and 8 of the 9 children to premature loss, most of them gone because of tuberculosis. I had returned home from college to stay with my parents during winter break. January in Maine is bitter cold, and in an 18th century house, all the more so. My little sister, who was about 15 at the time, and I were sharing a bed, partially for warmth, partially because I'm a sissy and the damn old place has always creeped me out a bit. The bed was in a downstairs front room of the house. The only other person in the house at the time was my younger brother, who was in the back L, far across the house from us. I woke up around 8 a.m., rather abruptly because I could hear intensely labored breathing coming from my sister. At first I thought she must have come down with a terrible cold and was really congested. I lay there for a couple minutes and then finally rolled over to check on her because it sounded awful, like an asthma attack or a death rattle. When I rolled over, I immediately saw she was on her side facing me, wide-eyed. She whispered, "That's not you." The noise continued, and it was loud. There was nothing subtle about it, and it was coming from the bed, directly between us. We jumped out of bed, checked under the bed, checked the entire room, and the while, the breathing continued. Finally, at a loss, we just stood on either side of the bed, facing each other, and listened in disbelief. It stopped abruptly. I have no explanation for that. My parents have owned the house for almost 10 years since then, and a variety of odd things have happened, though no one else has ever heard the labored breathing, which I rather think is just what it would sound like if, say, a person were dying of tuberculosis.